Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, Matt, what's going on? How's West Virginia?
Oh, it's good. How's New York?
Upstate is fine. Unfortunately, we're attached to New York City. It's like a bad marriage you can't get out of.
Yeah. What did you think about the clip?
Here's the long and the short of it. It's an interesting clip, and then it's a gotcha clip, and there's a lot of unrefrigerated fish here. But I think in the end, it just simply doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what I mean. From the very beginning, when the Democrats were killing each other in the primary for the presidential election, you hear what Kamala Harris said about Biden and all the others, and they decided Joe was going to be their guy. I forget the guy's name in South Carolina, the congressman, basically endorsed him. He won a primary. Then everybody else walked away. They gave Buttigieg a spot. Joe was going to be the disposable candidate, period. They just needed him to be why Obama picked him. I'm Joe Biden. I'm the old school, stable Democrat. And if this progressive Barack Obama gets too crazy, I'm here to reel him in. And Joe was the centrist. That was the take. He's just harmless Uncle Joe, and we need to get rid of Trump. He's always been disposable, so it's not really going to matter because I think these investigations won't go anywhere until the end of his first term, which he's going to walk away, or they'll get rid of him. After the midterms, the media is going to start going after him, and I mean the liberal media.
Yeah. Well, they're already starting.
Yeah, it was a win-win deal for as far as they're concerned because Joe Biden got what he always wanted. He wanted to be president of the United States. He ran 3-4 times, so he got his lifelong dream of being president, and they got rid of Donald Trump. Next story. And he's always been disposable. So all this really doesn't matter in the end.
So you don't think any of the investigations are going to go anywhere when it comes to Hunter Biden?
They might.
My thing is, you see this story. Not only that, you see what also is going on with Biden selling million barrels of oil to China. And he's using a company that was established by his son.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of corruption there, and it's crony capitalism at its best.
But here's what's going to happen. I mean, I ran a lot of local elections and local, national. It's all people are the same. Yeah. We want the American public are going to say, we've been through so much blank in the last 2 or 3, 4 years. We want Donald Trump gone. We want Biden gone. We want to start all over from scratch. Just throw them all out and get some new candidates. We're just tired of it. That's going to be the MO.
Yeah.
So maybe Hunter Biden gets some jail time. Maybe he gets a fine. Maybe, he'll do a GoFundMe page and raise millions for his defense. So it won't matter. It's just that was the deal that was struck. I get to be president. I get to enrich my family. We get rid of Trump, and then you get rid of me. But I'm not sure who the heir apparent's going to be.
Yeah. Well, Biden's not the only one that's been enriching his family. Obviously, the whole story about Nancy Pelosi as well, using that story is interesting too. Because
did you see her comment?
No, I didn't see her comment. What
she made basically, I'm paraphrasing, of course, I don't remember exactly, so people don't quote me. She's unaware of her husband's stock purchases and business dealings. None of the stocks are in her name.
That's bull. There's no way.
What I used to say when I was a councilman, because you can't say BS on live TV. Yeah. I used to say it's what the matador steps in when he leaves the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course that is. It's point now where they don't even try to cover their own behind. Just like, F you, I'll do what I want. And if you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah. That's the stuff that people have been talking about. That's the reason a lot of people believe that there needs to be term limits. Now, you convinced me on one of my live shows that there shouldn't be term limits because you're taking away people's right to choose. And,
right.
When you gave me that argument and you convinced me that we shouldn't have term limits, but there needs to be something to maybe wrangle some of that stuff in so people aren't able to
I think maybe
like
20 years ago that might have been viable. Yeah. But today, a lot, not all, but the vast majority of congressional seats are deep blue or deep red.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you get a new face in there. It's like getting a new teacher in school. Nothing's really going to change.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the same progressive. But the weird part is the newer ones are now going to be influenced by the deep state people, the DNC or whatever party you're in. And they're going to end up doing the same. It actually might be worse because they'll be more beholden to the party being brand new.
Yeah. You know, I've talked about on my channel and this channel about the only way you're going to change things is actually deal with the bureaucracy that is actually running the country. They're running the country more than actually the politicians are. And they're not elected. They're actually put in there over time. They're hired. So they're the ones you need to deal with.
And that's the one criticism. I'm a big Donald Trump fan still am. I wish he'd run again. But that's the one thing I criticize him for. It's really ironic. The thing he was famous for was you're fired.
Yeah.
And he should have walked in and said, you're all fired. And by the way, the people that, because of the union protecting you, I can't fire you. I'm going to put you in a warehouse, count paper clips until your retirement. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
But he didn't, because that's what I mean. If Donald Trump, as strong as a personality as he is, was influenced by the deep state rhino Republicans and uniparty people, how do you think with term limits, how do you think new people are going to be influences? Donald Trump's got a strong personality, and he still got suckered in.
Yeah. Well, I think he also had some people telling him he could work with the bureaucracy to direct it the way he wanted to direct it. And he found out otherwise. That's not the case.
Well, you know, they say he was going to drain the swamp. That was the famous saying.
Yeah.
And somebody pointed out the other day an interesting point. He lowered the water dramatically in the swamp and exposed the creatures that were underneath the water for everybody to see. And for that, he should get credit.
Yeah. Yeah, he scared them enough. Now they're, obviously going after him pretty hard with this January 6th committee and other things that's going on also in New York.
Yeah, that's my thing with Ron DeSantis. I don't think he has I won't call it revenge factor, but Donald Trump's got a mission to wipe out those people that did all those horrible things to him and even more importantly, this country. And I don't think Ron DeSantis has that mindset.
No, I don't think any politician does.
Donald Trump does.
Yeah, I think another one that I think that's looks like she might be running for the Republican nomination is the governor of South Dakota.
Yeah, was it Kristi Noem?
Yeah, Kristi Noem, because she's got ads all over the place.
Well, see, here's the thing. When they had the last presidential cycle, and you had what, 11 or 9 Democrats?
No. Yeah.
They know they're not going to win. What they're doing is they're maneuvering. Like Pete Buttigieg's got a secretary of transportation spot. These guys are moving either for the vice president slot or a cabinet post. They know they can't win, and this is just. They put their name in the hat and they drop out right at the right time. It's all about not being president, but about their future.
Yeah.
Which is smart. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Well, someone like Pete Buttigieg, people are thinking he's going to run in 2024.
Oh, praise God. I hope so.
I think if he ran against Trump, I think Trump would destroy him in a debate.
There's only one person that's even got a slim chance, and that's Gavin Newsom.
Yeah. Well, I think there's other Democrats that would have a chance, but I don't think they would run. That'd be like Joe Manchin. But the thing is, he wouldn't get the progressives to actually join in with them and try to get him elected.
Oh no, Joe would never do it. I mean,
that's it. Yeah.
One thing about Gavin Newsom, it's part of entertainment. He's a good-looking guy. He's a good speaker. Even though he's driven the largest state in the United States, economic-wise and population-wise, into the toilet. But that doesn't really matter because he got charisma. It's like when I saw Bill Clinton live once towards the end of his presidency when I was a Democrat, I sat right in the front row in front of him. And he walked out on stage, and everybody went, oh, some people have stage presence. Donald Trump does. Obama does. Newsom does. DeSantis, not so much, but stage presence is really, really huge, especially in today's media world.
Another person that he reminds me of when you talk about Newsom is the Prime Minister of Canada. He's a Trudeau. He's a good-looking guy. His policies are destroying Canada.
Yeah, but he's dumb as a post.
Yes, he is. He's dumber than hell. Yeah, I definitely agree.
If Newsom listened to this video, he'd probably send you a message saying, "Listen, the guy's an idiot. Don't compare me to him."
Well, Newsom's not that smart either. I wouldn't call him a genius.
But it's like an interview for a job. You have to act like you're qualified and want the job. It's acting in a weird way and being from California, but it's the perception is the reality.
Yeah. What saddens me about Newsom though is he's dyslexic and I'm dyslexic and right. I'm like this. I'm like, I do not claim this guy. He's not.
Oh yeah, that's what the progressives do. If you have like you're dyslexic or something else, and all of a sudden you're all together, and I'm going to be the spokesperson for dyslexic people. I remember when I was a city councilman, I used to they come up with some LGBT stuff. This is a 2005, maybe 6. And I said, listen, I don't want to put anybody special in anybody else. And they used to call me all kinds of names on live TV. It was terrible. So the next day I had a trans guy. He used to come in my store. Mm-hmm. And he was mad. He says, John, you're not like that. I'll go down and straighten those people out. I said, no. That's okay. He says, here's the funny part that people don't get. He says, those people say they represent me. Who the hell voted for them? I didn't vote for them unless I missed that election. They don't speak for me. Like Gavin Newsom speaks for all dyslexic people. I missed a vote on that. When did that happen?
I mean, the only thing me and him have in common is when we look at letters, we might have them in our mind. We get them mixed up. That's about all we have in common. Right. When it comes to everything else, from religion to politics, we have nothing in common other than that.
Yeah, well, you're both human beings. You both live on the planet.
Well, that's. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, there's nothing in common. There's nothing in common.
No.
And my understanding is I'm not expert, but there's high and low levels of dyslexia. Some have it.
It's a lot like autism.
Yeah, there's a lower end and a higher end and a lot in the middle.
Yeah. I'm on the higher end, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I get it. It happens to me a lot. Like whenever I write stuff, I have to look it over 3 or 4 times before I do anything with it. If I don't, I know I got something wrong with it.
As I'm getting older, one thing for me, I don't think it's dyslexia, but I'm having trouble remembering how to spell complicated words that I used to be able to spell. So I don't know what that means.
Early on dementia.
Yeah, but here's the problem. With early on dementia, I'll forget all the good stuff and remember all the crappy stuff. So, thanks a lot for that. The stuff I want to forget, I'll remember. I'm like, you don't get a choice on what you forget.
Yeah.
But go back to the original, though. Biden's just a placeholder.
Yep.
I think in a lot of ways, Republicans saw Trump as a placeholder as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's how Fox News and others saw him that way.
Yeah, they only came around when he started winning primary states.
Yeah, definitely agree.
They're disposable. But the thing is, though, they won't have to pull the 25th Amendment on Biden. I think he'll make out the term. They'll just hide him somewhere. They'll make it worse. They'll wait out their 2 years. Once they lose the House and the Senate, and they'll go with executive order and a couple of sound bites, but he's going to be showing up less and less. He's going to end up like being Woodrow Wilson in the end of his presidency, where his wife's going to be the president and you don't hear from him or see him.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Woodrow Wilson, maybe even, I wouldn't say Reagan, but at the end of his presidency, he wasn't all there either.
He was missing a couple of steps, but he wasn't nearly as bad as Biden.
No, he's not even close.
See, I think what helped out Reagan is his actor training, his public speaking. Reagan was a hell of a public speaker compared to Biden. I mean, but Biden in his prime was a crappy public speaker. That's one thing that Trump does. He's not a very good public speaker. Well, he's never had that experience. He's never had that.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Biden, at least when he spoke, you knew what he was saying. Back in the past, you knew what he was trying to get, what he was conveying. Now,
they
you're
call
like
him
this, I have no idea.
Well, Reagan, they called him the great communicator.
Yep.
Because he got through to people whether they agree with him or not, and that's really important if you're speaking in public. This is what I mean. I mean, I actually lose brain cells watching clips from Kamala Harris.
Well,
I actually get dumber at the end than when I started.
I think before her, everybody thought Dan Quill might have been the dumbest vice president ever. And
no, he wasn't that dumb.
I don't think he was. He just made mistakes. He made mistakes. But her, everything she says, I'm trying to remember the one she was talking. The one speech that killed me, where she's talking about we're a community that are together, and we need and it just, she kept on using the same line 3 different times, and
it's in 3 different ways, and I'm sure the interviewer sitting there going to himself or herself, "What the hell?" and they gave her softball questions.
Yeah.
They give her open-ended questions like, they don't ever do that to Trump.
And she can't handle it. Yeah.
I don't know. I used to put 90% Trump's going to run again. Now I'm about 85. I'm slowly getting down because he's getting pounded, and it depends how he handles it. The problem is, though, Bill O'Reilly said it right, even though Bill O'Reilly lost a lot of credibility. He talks to Trump quite often. He says, the man just doesn't listen to advice. He's just so stubborn.
Yeah.
And we're going to see, because that was Donald Trump's forte his whole life. I mean, everybody screws up. His business almost went down. He never makes the same mistake again. We're going to see if that personality, part of his personality, holds through.
Well, so you're at 85%. You think he'll run? That's what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I'm actually lower than you. I was thinking 65%. Chance.
I think it depends. Here's the way you look at it. Say you're Ron DeSantis. What's in your best interest? Not the country's, not Donald Trump's. What's in your best interest? He's up for re-election this November.
Yeah.
And he only won by 20,000 votes. Now he'll do way better, of course, and he'll do really well getting reelected. Now here you are, a resident of Florida. You get bombarded with commercials. You've seen Ron DeSantis all over the place because, the media's after him. Now you vote for him and put your confidence in him, and he turns around and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm running for president." They're going to be mad. Yeah. Now, if he doesn't win that primary, he puts himself in danger.
Yeah.
Now, if he did a vice president candidate with Trump, maybe they might see it differently.
Well, do you think DeSantis is going to run for president?
I don't think so, because I think he's smart enough, not because if he thinks he can win or not, is because it hurts him long term because he's younger and he's got a lot more ahead of him than behind him, and Trump doesn't.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. Not only that, I'm one of those people, I'd rather have Trump 4 and then DeSantis for 8.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how I would want it.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
It's like, it would transform the country 12 years. Can you imagine the Supreme Court justices alone?
Yeah.
And all those people out there that say, I kind of lost my polish for Donald Trump. He's not the shiny new toy we thought he was. Remember this. Donald Trump stopped Hillary Clinton from being president, and he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices. Just for that alone, you owe him.
Yeah.
Just those 2 things alone, you owe him. Those are big deals.
Yeah, I agree. They are big deals.
I mean, I remember the 91, he came out on the stage. No one was more surprised than him. You could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. He's like, this, I won?
You ever see the movie that I think it's called The Candidate with Robert Redford?
Yeah.
And at the end, he's in the elevator, and he's like, oh, what the hell do we do now? I wasn't supposed to win.
Well, what I enjoyed the 91 is how the media reacted.
Oh yeah,
that was just great.
They said, "Well, a reality TV star." In a lot of ways, that whole election was reality TV. It was insane, but they're always all like that. So, we can go back and look at the craziness. I mean, when I was a kid with Nixon and McGovern and Muskie, and how they sabotaged the Democrat parties and rallies, and it's always been like that. It's just we didn't have internet back then. That's the problem.
Uh, I'll, the other thing I was wondering if you thought, do you think Tulsi Gabbard's going to run for president and for the Democrat Party, or do you think she's completely out of politics, not doing anything like that anymore?
I'm not so sure. I think maybe her influence might be endorsing people. We'll have to see. Sometimes it's funny. When I was on 2 terms on city council, and here's the way it works. The first term, I was a Democrat, and I was in the minority. And you get to say and do anything because you don't have to prove anything. These guys are bad. These guys suck. We should do this. But when the next term I was in this, it was a super majority. It was 8-1 Democrats. I'm like, oh, now we got to produce. We can't just complain about stuff because we're the guys in charge. It's easier to complain about it when you're not in it than in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a responsibility. And that's why the Republicans always fail when they get the majority. I just hope there's enough MAGA people that win that it'll be like the old Tea Party times 10.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because the MAGA people are not shy, man.
No, they're not. No. People like Matt Gaetz and
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
I like Boebert. I think she's cool as hell.
Yeah.
She's great. She's like 90 pounds and nothing. And it's like, imagine being married to her and having her mad at you. I mean, it's got to be great.
She's a firecracker. Have you seen her husband? Have you seen her husband? The size of it's like twice her size.
Yeah, well, she's 5 foot nothing, so everybody's going to be taller, but I mean, with her sidearm on, screw with me. Come on,
Well, if you compare her husband to Trump, he makes Trump look small.
Yeah, yeah.
And Trump's 6'3", 200.
Yeah, he's a good sized guy.
He's 6'3", 260 pounds, and you're like this. Wow, when someone makes that look small, that's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story without getting, my grandmother, my mother's mother was like 5 foot nothing, and my grandfather was like 6'7". Now that was huge for back in the 20s. And I saw a picture of them, in their 1920s clothes, and I was smiling. My grandmother goes, "What's so funny?" I says, "I'm looking at you and I'm looking at him and I'm trying to do logistics." And she goes, "Oh, very funny." I said, "You got 3 kids. One of them was my mother. You had 3 kids." And she goes, "You know what? You're a jerk." And she walked away. She was mad. It was funny. It's just, I'm just saying what people think out loud. That's all. But it's kind of the same thing. But we're going to see. I'm not so sure if McCarthy's going to be the speaker that's going to be the speaker to make change. I think he's just another uniparty guy. I think he's going to be another Paul Ryan.
Yeah. Do you think what Matt Gaetz' suggestion should happen? They should put Trump as the Speaker of the House. Do you think anything like that will happen? No,
that's all. It's nice to talk about when you're sitting around having a few beers, with your friends, but it's not going to happen. And Trump would never do it anyway.
No. I didn't know that though, that you don't have to be elected official.
I didn't know that either. I thought you had to be a Congress member.
Yeah.
I'm pretty astute on the Constitution and a lot of things, and I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I don't.
It's nice. It's nice for a TV show. Like a movie where, the last man standing, or like a House of Cards where you end up being president without getting elected, and the finagling that went on. I mean, that's what that's like. It's a good TV show, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But Pelosi will have the distinction. Pelosi does have the distinction and will have to be the only Speaker of the House to lose the majority twice.
Good.
And next time you're playing Trivial Pursuit 2 or 3 years from now, you'll know that answer.
She's the only speaker of the House that also had a bunch of what William and Shannon call wrinkle parties.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Looks like one of those dogs there with all the wrinkles all over. What do they call them?
A basset.
I mean, they're so ugly, they're cute. One of those deals, like an ugly baby.
I mean, they got like Shar-Pei. They're called Shar-Peis. Yeah.
I mean, they're so weird looking that they're actually cute.
Yeah.
It's like an ugly baby. An ugly baby is still cute,
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do an advertisement for this for our newsletter real quick, John.
Okay. I want to thank everybody that's watching this, to subscribe. I've picked up a ton lately, and I thank you all.
All right. Guys, check out This Way Network's newsletter. You can go to www.thiswaynetwork.com. I have a link down at the bottom. I also have a link to all the platforms we're on. Check them out. Go and hit like and subscribe and check out our videos on those platforms as well. And check out John Cordisco's channel. His link is down in the bottom description as well. And go and subscribe to him. All right, John, I'm going to give you the last word.
I appreciate that. Everybody hang tough. We're right in the middle of the storm. Like the old days, we just put our heads down and get through it, and we'll get through it. We always have. And God bless America.
See y'all guys later.
Take care.